how would you describe the parliamentary elections that happened in Lebanon, and where were the violations mostly happening?
Well, as we stated on numerous occasions, we were somehow even shocked, I must say, by the fact that, in our view, these elections were overshadowed by numerous practices of vote buying and clientelism. Then on the campaign, we said that it was vibrant, but marred by some instances of intimidation. And very important thing to conclude is that the legal framework, in particular in campaign finance dimension, suffers from serious shortcomings. Our recommendations were not taken into account, but it's not only about our recommendations, it's about international commitments of Lebanon in this respect, which Lebanon committed but does not fulfill. And to perhaps conclude, the important element of this shortcomings on the legal framework is the lack of effective sanction.
Did you notice in certain areas, in certain regions, that mostly the violations were happening?
Look, this as far as the vote buying and clientelistic practices are concerned, we observed it all around the country. As far as intimidation is concerned, we observed it mostly in the areas in the south, mostly, and in some areas of east of the country, namely in Baalbek and Hermel.
Next question is about the roundtable that the EU-EUM held. Did you sense a positive outcome and willingness from the Lebanese representatives?
We had a fruitful discussion of almost 4 hours. I was impressed by the fact that all the participants were so much involved in this discussion and seemed committed to make some changes. It was a very positive, constructive discussion among, again, the Lebanese political parties, CSOs, and the government. We were, only moderating, and I have a good feeling. But of course, everything depends at the end of the day on the political will of the lawmakers, because out of these 23 recommendations, most of them need a legal change.
So, was there any invitation for in the implementation to assist them?
As for us, we stand ready to help technically if needed, if asked, requested by the authorities. We stand ready to help, and we will, of course, remind in a good faith to the authorities in the framework of the dialogues we have. And then we will also deploy a follow-up mission in the mid-electoral cycle, so I suppose in 2 years or shorter, actually, to assess whether and how these recommendations are being implemented.
So last question, will a European Union mission observe the presidential elections?
Look, as you know, the presidential elections have a very particular character, as it's not a direct election, it's an indirect election, and we are not observing this kind of indirect elections. This is taking place in the parliament, so we have never observed it. It's a completely different process, which involves only over 100 of MPs. So the European Union will, of course, follow it closely through our delegation, who is based here, but there will be certainly no mission to follow it.